As we lie here with the eyes closed, start checking in with the head, the neck, and the shoulders, and slowly traveling down the body. Noticing sensations, noticing the thoughts that pop up and the emotions. Taking it all in and allowing it all to be present. Maybe taking a few rounds of intentional breath here. Breathing into the belly first, then into the chest, then in through the nose. Coming down onto your back if you're seated now. And we'll take a moment to stretch out into star pose. So bring those feet out to 5 and 7 o'clock. Arms to 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Close those eyes. Take a breath into the belly first, then into the chest, into the lungs, and then up in through the nose. And then a big long exhale to help to relax the nervous system. Taking a few rounds of natural breath. And then again, returning to our 3-part breath. Breathing into belly, then chest, then up in through the nose. Nice big exhale. Few rounds of regular breath again. And then when you're ready, 3-part breath. Inhale, belly first comes up off the spine, then up in through the chest, the lower lungs, the upper lungs. Then breathe in through the nose. And then a nice big long exhale to release. And we'll let everything sink down. Come back to your own natural breath. Check in with the sounds in the room around you. The sensations of the air on skin. If there are any places in the body that you noted where there's discomfort or pain, just bringing the attention there. Imagine you could send a breath there. Paying special attention to those parts of the body where there is discomfort in any pose during your practice today. To listen to the signals that our body sends us. To pull back if something is too much. To practice self-care rather than trying to have a pose look a certain way. Just here to stretch out and breathe. Take a nice big breath in. And then on your exhale, we'll hug those knees into the chest and rock side to side to start. Check out the low back and those hips, maybe comparing right hip, left hip. Just noticing. Hands on knees. Let's circle those knees out and away from each other. And then circle the knees inward. Really gently waking those hips up. And then we'll stretch those legs straight up into the air. Maybe the hands come back behind the knees or the thighs. Point and flex the feet. The knees can be soft here. Let's circle those ankles. And then we'll bring our arms out to the side for balance with palms down. Open those legs to like 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock, or maybe 10 and 2. And let's rock over to the right and rock over to the left. Gently twisting in the lower back. Little massage for lower back and hips as you just kind of bring those legs over to the left and over to the right. Over to the left and over to the right. More times here. Just going side to side. And then coming back to center. Let's bring those hands behind the knees, or if it's available, yogi toe hold, reach for those big toes. And let's open those legs to a V here. Reclined, wide-legged stretch. And now let's take a deep bend in the knees and come into our happy baby from here. So remember, happy baby, your feet are flat, like you're holding up the ceiling. And if you grabbed one of your blocks, you could hold a block on that foot in your happy baby. Nice and steady. Take a breath or two here. Maybe you want to rock side to side. Your happy baby. Just noticing where you feel this stretch the most. Maybe the inner legs, maybe the outer hips, just notice. And then we'll release. Bend those knees, feet come down to the floor, open those toes out to the side a bit so they're kind of hanging off the mat. And with those legs nice and wide, we'll windshield wiper and drop those legs side to side. Again, waking up the hips, and when you drop those legs to the left, hold it here. Stretch that right hip forward, reach that right knee down towards the floor, turn the head to the right. See where you feel the stretch. Check the front of the right hip and maybe down the front of that right thigh or the quadricep. See how far down the stretch goes. Maybe all the way down towards the knee. And then once again, side to side. Next time we drop over to the right and hold. That left glute turns on and we stretch that left hip forward as we draw that left knee down towards the mat. Head turns left. Nice little stretch here, hold. Nice breath into that left rib cage. Maybe the eyes are still closed. And then side to side. Right, let's get into some side stretches. Let's grab our strap and come into our banana pose. So we'll stretch those legs out nice and long. Inhale that strap overhead. Point those toes, full body stretch. Reach the arms overhead. Nice big breath in and out here. And then coming into your banana pose, walk those feet over to about 7 o'clock. Inch that upper body over to maybe 11 o'clock. And then cross that left foot over the right or stack that left foot on top of the right. Hold it here and just breathe into the left side of the body. Relax those shoulders away from the ears if there's tension, or soften the jaw. And then release back to center. Switching sides. Feet go over to about 5 o'clock. Head, neck, and shoulders, that upper body inches over to about 1 o'clock. Relax that right shoulder away from the ear. And then release. Back to center. Hug those knees in and rock side to side again. Little massage for the low back. This time, hug those knees together, and then we'll start circling here, keeping the knees together the whole time. Another way to do this would be to put that block between the knees, and then we circle. You can stretch those arms out to a T. So we're circling those femur bones, the thigh bones, and the hip socket. And we're also getting a little massage for low back. And then switch it up and circle the opposite direction. And then we'll grab that strap, stretch those legs up into the air. And let's start bending and straightening opposite knees, just like we would walk our dog in downward dog. Bend one knee and straighten the other, and then switch and hold and stretch that heel up to the sky. Point those toes down towards the face. We get down into the calf and the Achilles tendon. And then hugging those legs together, we'll make some circles here. Maybe closing the eyes and just noticing those circles that you're drawing on the mat with the low back. And then circle the opposite direction. Back to neutral in the center. We'll take that right leg out, cross it over the left. Using that strap for support. I'm going to slide that strap a little bit up towards my toes. Draw those toes back towards the face. So we're flexing that left foot. Rock it out here if that feels good. Reclined, supported, figure four. To deepen the stretch, you could take that right arm, right elbow, and gently nudge that right knee out and away. Only if you need to take it a little deeper. Now we'll remove that right leg, stretch it out nice and long. Let's point that right toe and let that right leg hover in the air. Strap comes into the right hand this time, or right hand reaching for that left big toe for yogi toe hold. And then we're going to stretch that left arm overhead. Take a nice breath in, lift head, neck, and shoulders off the floor, draw the belly down to the spine. Right leg and left arm are stretched and extended here. Release everything back down. Right knee comes bent back into the chest, back up into that strap. And we switch sides. So this time, left leg crosses over, figure four. Just noticing any subtle differences between right side and left side. Rock if that feels good. Close the eyes and just let ourselves melt here into this pose. Finding places where we can just soften a bit. Every exhale, practicing letting go somewhere in the body where we might be gripping. And then left leg gently slides out. Stretch that left leg out, point that toe, it's balancing up off the floor. Left hand reaches for the strap or that big toe for yogi toe hold. Extending that right arm overhead, take a nice breath in. As you exhale, maybe lifting that upper body off the floor, belly's drawn down to the spine. Right arm, left leg are extended. The right hemisphere of the brain connecting and communicating with the left side of the brain here while we're stretching that right leg. And then release down. Let's let that left leg relax down to the floor here. That strap will come back into the right hand. Open that leg out to the right. Flex that foot again. Stretch that heel out. You can soften the knee here. And then back through center, switch the strap into the left hand, and we cross that right leg. Here we'll stretch the right arm out, head turns right. So you can always do this in a yogi toe hold with that left hand reaching the right big toe. And if it's too much, you could always have that right knee bent and do a knee down twist. So pick your level of intensity. Back to center with that right leg. We're going to switch legs. Left leg comes up to meet the right. And then we remove that right leg, relax it down, strap in the left hand, open that left leg out to the side. Maybe that right palm is face down on that right hip bone. We want to keep the right side of the body grounded and connected to the mat, so we're not rolling over onto our left side here. If you find that right shoulder blades off the floor, maybe you pull that left leg in a little bit closer to let the back body really fully connect to the mat. And then cross it over, switch the strap into the other hand. Stretch that left arm out, head turns left. Nice little stretch here for the shoulder, for the hip, for the back of that left leg. Take a breath here into that left rib cage. And then release back to center. We'll drop that strap off to the side. And we're going to roll over onto our belly. So nice and slow. We've been down for a bit. Let's take a moment here in our Sphinx pose, starting out with a little back bend. So just kind of shimmy around and see if you can get those hips close to the mat. We can tuck our toes under. Get a little stretch for the calf. Back of the legs. We can lift those knees up off the mat, make it active for lower body. Draw the belly button up off the floor, up towards the spine. And check and make sure those elbows are directly beneath the shoulder. We don't want the arm on a diagonal forward or all the way back. So you try and get a nice straight line from elbow to shoulder. Take a breath or two here. Relax those shoulders away from the ears. And then we'll release down. Let's bring those hands to the outside of the mat. Palms on the ground. They'll be about chest level. And we're going to ground down into those palms, lifting up into our back bend. Lift that chin up. Exhale, release down. Breathe in and lift up. Belly strong into spine. Exhale, release down. Again, breathe in, lift into the back bend. Exhale down. Now we'll just lift a little bit, like halfway. And we're going to dip that right shoulder down. Back bend, inhale, center. And then dip that left shoulder down. Back bend, inhale, center. Dip the right shoulder. Back to center. And dip the left. One more time. Right. Inhale, lift it center and dip that left shoulder down. Back to center. All right, let's come on down onto our bellies. We're going to stretch those arms out to a T on both sides. And we'll rest our head on the left side of the face, the left cheek. We're going to come into our broken wing pose. A little twist, a little stretch and opening for the hip here. So we'll bend that right knee, lift that right leg up off the floor, and then we roll onto the left side of the body. So my left palm and left arm are stretched out. Left palm is face down. And we think about opening that hip and turning that right knee up towards the sky. So we can bring that hand in a little bit closer for support. And now we'll go back and forth a few times. Bring the knee in the front, closing, and then open. That hip, foot comes back behind. Tap the knee. tap that foot back behind. It's okay if that foot doesn't touch the ground, just turning and opening that hip. Close and open. Releasing back down onto the belly. We'll switch sides, relax that right leg. Now we turn the head over to the left a bit. Bend that left knee. Lift that left leg up into the air. Turning onto the right side here. Left knee reaches up towards the sky. That left palm can be down on the floor for extra support. You can have that left hand behind the back or stretch that arm up. Is another option. And then with that left palm supporting on the floor, we'll bring the knee to the front. And then open. Foot comes back behind. Tap the knee in the front. Tap the foot back behind. 2 more times. Knee and foot. Tap the knee. Open and tap that foot back behind. And release, nice and slow, uncurling back to center. And we'll pull those arms back a little closer to the body, making our way up to table pose, up to hands and knees. You have those blocks nearby for support. So fingers are spread nice and wide, wrists directly beneath those shoulders. Check your alignment. We'll start stretching that right leg out to the side. And that right foot is flat on the floor, toes pointing straight ahead. Let's do our cat-cow here. Letting that belly drop down into a little back bend, lift the chin, breathe in, and then exhale and curl. And into your cow, inhale. Exhale and curl. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. See how this feels for the back. So you can stay here if you want to come a little bit deeper for a little bit more of an inner leg stretch. You can come down onto your blocks. Get down a little lower, or maybe you come all the way down to your mat. Nice little stretch here for that inner leg. And then coming back up onto the hands, turn and twist. Open to the right. Exhale down. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Release back to center. We'll switch sides. We'll just switch so you have a different view here. Stretch that left leg out to the side. Left foot is flat on the ground. Starting with our cat-cow. Into your cow pose, your back bend, lift that chin, take a breath, and then exhale and curl. Breathe into your cow. Exhale, arch that back in your cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Breathe in and breathe out. Back to neutral spine. Maybe you come down here a little bit deeper. Come down onto the blocks or forearms down onto the ground. Maybe you let that head come down and just gently turn that head side to side. Come back up onto the hands. Turn and twist, open left, breathe in. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Turn and twist it open. And exhale down. Bring that left leg back into your table. Pull back into a child's pose. You can be in a traditional child's pose with the legs together, or widening child's pose. The big toes are together and the knees are pointing out to 10 and 2 o'clock. You can rest that head, stack the hands, or maybe rest it on a block. Maybe gently turning that head side to side. And then release, come on back up to neutral. If you want to put some extra padding, if you have a towel here for your knees, you could do that. I am just going to take a little bit of my mat here, pull it back. I have all this extra cushioning and support for the knees. Okay, so I have my knees on that little bubble that little bump that I just created. And I'm going to step that left foot forward. And we're going to come into a warrior two on our knees. So this back foot might swing back a bit here. Coming up. So we're in a kneeling warrior two. Let's fix this. We're on that right knee. And that left knee is extended forward. Take a nice breath in. We're looking out over the front of that left hand. And then we'll exhale into our side angle pose. Turn that left palm up, big stretch with that right arm. If you notice you're kind of closed and facing down, see if you can turn and open that chest up to the sky. Breath or two here. Release, come on back up. Back to neutral. Inhale those arms up. And then we'll clasp those hands back behind us. Maybe we just draw those shoulder blades together, lift the chin. Or maybe we can lift those arms off the back a bit. See what feels right for you. Inhale it up. And exhale those hands forward. We'll bring the left hand on the inside of that leg. And then we can bring that left leg around. Pull back again, child's pose. Same thing, other side, coming back up. This time we'll be on that left knee, and we'll bring that right leg forward for our kneeling warrior two. Use those belly muscles. Come on up onto that left leg here. And then warrior two arms. Looking out over that front right hand. Feel free to adjust that back foot. Side angle pose, bending that right arm, right palm faces up. We get a nice side stretch here. Side angle pose, again, turn and open that heart up to the sky. Take a breath or two here. And then come on back. We'll inhale, both arms reach up to the sky. And then we bring those hands back behind for a little chest opener. Relax those shoulders. You might want to draw them up and circle them back and down away from the ears. Draw the shoulder blades closer to each other on the back. Lift that heart, lift that chin. Maybe the hands come off the back just a tiny bit. Take a breath or two here. And then inhale those arms up, releasing out. Both hands come back down. Both hands on the inside of that right foot. And then we swing that right leg back around, pull back, and child's pose again. come on back up to table. We're going to come into a runner's lunge. So first let's circle that right hip. Let's just lift and circle a few times. Few rotations in each direction. And then we're going to bring that right leg forward into a runner's lunge. So take your time. Bring that right leg towards the center of the mat. That left knee can be on your cushion here. And remember, you can always use your blocks here. So you can have them at the low setting, medium, or stay all the way up high. So for runner's lunge, we want to make a nice line here. Flex that foot and draw the toes back towards the nose. Take a breath or two here. Maybe we point and flex the foot. The belly's drawn into the spine. Imagine if you had a yardstick, your spine would be a nice long diagonal line like that yardstick if you pressed it on your back. And now let's come into a twist here, little runner's lunge twist. So left hand will be on the floor or the block, turn and twist and open. Maybe that hand comes to the small of the back. Just experiment, see what feels good. Maybe that arm is just stretching up for the sky. And then release it back down. Once again, both hands are going to come on the inside of that right leg. And we're going to start to bend that right knee. Bring that right leg back, coming into our bird dog pose. So those hands are going to help ground us here. Fingers spread nice and wide. We start with just that right leg. Then we stretch that left arm out into the balance. Take a breath or two here. And then release, pull back, child's pose. Make your way back up. We'll do the same thing on the other side. This time we are on that right knee as we circle that left leg, circling the left hip, both directions a few times. And then we'll come into that runner's lunge, bringing that left leg forward, sliding it or walking it over to the middle of the mat. Stretch that right leg forward into your runner's lunge. Draw those toes back towards the face. Flex that foot. Take a breath or two here. This is where you can be on your blocks again. You can point and flex nice and slow. Point and flex. And then we'll ground that right hand onto the floor, onto the block. Turn and twist and open left and hold in your runner's lunge. Maybe the left palm comes to the small of the back. See what feels good and hold it here. And now that left arm will come down on the inside of that left leg. You start to bend that left knee, slide it back, and then swing that left leg back to your bird dog. So the weight is evenly distributed on the palm of the hands. We see if we can get that left foot, that left leg parallel to the floor. Your belly's drawn up to spine, and then make your way into your bird dog. Stretch that right arm out, hold the balance here. That belly is active. Breathing in and out through the nose. And then release that left arm, right arm down. And then we'll swing that left leg over to 5 o'clock. Tuck those left toes under, push that left heel out and away. Look over the right shoulder and see if you can find that foot. Another little stretch for the hip. And then release back to center. Stretch that right leg back and swing it over to 7 o'clock. Tuck those toes under, push that right heel away. We'll go over that left shoulder, see if you can find that right foot. And then release. Come on back to center. Let's come into a little camel before we move on. I'm just going to walk my hands back. My knees are on that extra padding here. Coming up onto the knees. And it's like we're putting our hands in our back jeans pockets. Check those shoulders. Draw the shoulder blades up and back and down. Draw those shoulder blades closer to one another on the back. If I came back behind you and I helped to gently draw those arms closer, like the elbows could touch. Nice little chest opener. Belly's drawn into spine. Stretch those hips forward. Breathing in your camel. You can hold it here, or you can reach that right hand back for the right heel. Stretch that left arm up. And then switch. Inhale, right arm comes up to meet the left. Exhale, that left arm reaches back for that left heel. Stretch that right arm back behind. And then coming back up, arms back up as you inhale. Exhale, hands come back down. I'm just gonna kind of come off my little cushion here, straighten my mat out again, and then tuck those toes. Let's stretch it back into downward dog. Reach those heels towards the mat. Let's come up to tippy toes, and then exhale, heels towards the ground. Stretch it up again, heels off the floor, tippy toes. Exhale, heels down. So raise and lower, raise and lower. And then we'll reach those heels downward. Maybe they touch the mat, maybe they don't. Walk your dog. Bend the left knee, straighten the right. And then switch. Bending opposite knees. Walk your dog. And then hold that stretch here. See if you can straighten the knees out a bit. I'm going to ground into that left hand. Right hand will reach for right ankle, right knee, right calf. And then switch. Ground into that right hand and left hand reaches for the right ankle. Release that left hand, bend those knees. We're going to make our way up to stand, however it feels safe. I'm just going to start walking my hands back towards the feet, and then nice and slow, coming all the way up to stand. When you get there, roll your shoulders up and back and down. And we'll roll those shoulders forward. Let's take a few sun breaths to start. Inhale, stretch those arms up overhead. Exhale, arms to your side. And again, breathe in and out. Sun breath this time. Inhale it up, palms together. Exhale, arms out to a T. Swan dive down, bend those knees. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Bend those knees, come all the way up to stand. Inhale up, palms together. And exhale, arms out to the side, release down. Just kind of shake it out. Shake out the legs and the arms. So let's come into some Standing poses, a little bit of balance here. So we're going to start facing the top of the mat, stepping that left foot forward, shift the weight into that left leg, belly's drawn into spine. Hands can be wherever it helps. Could be hands on hips, you could be holding onto a chair or a wall, right? Belly's drawn in to help us with balance. Lift that right knee up, let's circle that right ankle. Let's come into our flamingo. Stretch the left arm up first. Stretch that right arm out, parallel to that right leg. Hold it here for a breath or two. And then nice and slow, we release the arms, release that right leg back, bending into the left knee. Step that right foot back so we can come into our warrior two. Adjust that back foot. Looking over that front left hand. See how far you can get, how deep you can get. Depends on how those knees are doing. Tip back, peaceful warrior. Exhale, side angle pose. Tip back, peaceful warrior. Right hand slides down the back of that right leg. Stretch and reach that left arm. Exhale, side angle pose. That left palm is face up in your side angle pose. One more time, come on back. And exhale, side angle. While we're here, let's just circle that shoulder a little bit. Just some soft, gentle arm circles. A few times in both directions with that right arm. Nice and easy. And make your way back up. Warrior two. Straighten that left leg. We'll turn and parallel the feet. Inhale it up to star. Exhale, hands behind the back. You could use your strap here or clasp those hands coming into another little chest opener. Belly is drawn into spine. Relax those shoulders, so you might want to roll them up and back and down away from the ears. Draw those shoulder blades closer again on the back. And then lift that chest, lift the heart chakra, lift the chin, open that throat chakra. Little stretch across the chest here. And then release, inhale it up. Exhale, arms down. Let's just start to heel toe those feet, walk it in. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. This time, step that right foot forward. Shift the weight into the right leg. Belly's drawn into spine to help us to balance. When we're ready, lifting that left leg. Stretch that right arm up to the sky. Flamingo, stretch that left arm straight out front. And we can circle that left ankle here for a bit. When you're ready, nice and slow, arms come down. We let that left leg drop. Send it all the way back. Stepping it down, parallel to the back of the mat. Coming into your warrior two. See if maybe you can get a little deeper. I'm going to kind of inch my right leg forward. Bending into that front right knee. Arms parallel to the floor, looking over that front right hand. Warrior two. Nice tall posture here. Tip back, peaceful warrior. Breathe in and exhale, side angle pose. Tip back, peaceful warrior. Slide that left hand down the back of that left leg. Big stretch from the right hip here all the way up the right side of the body. Again, side angle pose. And tip back. One more time, come into your side angle pose. That right palm will face up here. So see if you can use the obliques, the muscles on the right side of the body, rather than just slumping down into that right arm. Stretch that left arm into your side angle pose. And then a few circles here. with that left arm. Nice and slow for that shoulder. A couple of times in both directions. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. And then making our way back up, warrior two. Drop those arms. Straighten that right leg. So we're going to come into triangle from here. You might want to adjust your feet. For me, I like to bring my feet a little bit closer together, but maybe you're good where you are. Those arms come back out, stretching, reaching out over that right leg. Drop down into your triangle. Remember, you can always have your block here for support at any height. That left arm is reaching straight up for the sky. Take a nice breath in and out here. Maybe again, you want to try and change it up and bring the left hand to the small of the back. A little bit of a rotation with the right rib cage, rotating forward. And then coming back up, using those belly muscles to help you up. Drop the arms, and we'll just flip those feet. So now that left foot is pointing forward. We'll tip out over that left leg and come down into triangle. So maybe you can have the back of that left hand just gently resting or touching the inside of that left leg rather than slumping down and putting all your weight there. Again, use your block for support. Adjusting and shifting where it's right for your body. When you're ready, come on back up. Arms come down, parallel both feet. Inhale it up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Inhale up. Palms together. Exhale, release those hands down in front of the heart. Take a breath or two here. Maybe even close the eyes. Relax those shoulders away from the ears. And then open the eyes, release the arms. We'll heel toe and walk those feet closer to one another again. And then we're going to make our way back down to our mats. Coming back down to sit. Maybe you saw that graphic in the email that I sent yesterday. Coming into a wide-legged stretch here. And it talked about how the knees and toes are going to be pointing straight up. It demonstrated how the legs are active in this pose. And if I turn sideways, it offered the option that if you typically have your hands out front and you curl and round the back, rather than doing it this way, because we always want to keep that back long and straight, we would walk out and maybe that chin would be lifted off the chest a little bit. So again, if we had that yardstick on our back, it would be just nice and flat. The spine is nice and flat and long. So there's no curves there right now. Hold it here. And then nice and slow, let's start to walk those hands back in. And what the picture showed as an option was to bring the hands back behind us and make it a little chest opener. So we draw that belly into the spine. We're looking straight ahead, so the chin is not down on the chest. And then again, we're going to draw those shoulder blades closer on the back. lifting that heart, opening the heart chakra. Then we lift our chin, opening that throat chakra. Take a nice breath in and just hold it here. Opening the upper part of the body here, the front of the body. And then release back to neutral. Come into a little twist, inhaling it up, twist towards the right. That left hand will reach for the outside of that right knee. Right hand is back behind us at 6 o'clock. Looking back over that right shoulder. Hold that twist, wringing out in the back of the torso. Back to center, inhale it up, and exhale, twist left. Right hand hooks around the outside of that left knee. My knees and toes are still pointing straight up to the sky, still active. Looking back, twisting, and looking over that left shoulder. Just holding it here. And release back to center. A little flow. Inhale up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale up. Exhale, twist left. Inhale up. Exhale, twist right. Inhale up. And exhale, twist left. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Just thinking again about keeping that spine nice and long and straight rather than curving the back. Walk those hands back in. Let's bring the bottoms of the feet together. It's kind of rocking it out a bit here. Just coming here and resting in your butterfly pose. I'm going to see if I can bring my legs in a little bit closer. Take a nice tall breath in. And then exhale, we fold over. Hold it here. Closing the eyes, and as we kind of curl inward here, we help to relax the nervous system. So maybe closing the eyes and just taking a few breaths feels good here too. And then release, come on back up. We'll close those legs like a book. And make your way back down onto your back. Maybe you want to come down with some spinal rocking. Maybe you want to do a few cat-cows seated before you come back down. Whatever feels good. For our rocking, we can bring those hands back behind the knees. Starting out in our modified boat pose. We'll rock back and forth a few times. Little massage for the back of the body and the kidneys. And then coming back down, hugging those knees into the chest. We'll bring them open to 10 into a clock. And just rock side to side a bit. Yogi's choice here. Any final pose or stretch your body needs, take it here. Maybe you want to come into a supported inversion, sliding that block underneath the tailbone. Coming into a little back bend, you can turn it onto the medium setting and come up a little bit higher. Let those palms face up. Or a gentle supported back bend. Or maybe you feel like doing another happy baby. See what your body needs right now. Maybe another inversion. where you stretch those legs up into the air. Whatever feels good. And then whenever you're ready, slowly making your way to Shavasana. You can hook those legs up onto a chair or a couch. For astronaut pose, you can do legs up the wall, stretch those legs up and let them rest on the wall. I'm going to come into a reclined star where we started, bringing the body into the shape of a letter X. Finding a final pose here where you can take a moment to just rest and let everything go. Letting the breath happen naturally. No special way to breathe. Just watching the rise and the fall of the belly. The rise and the fall of the chest. In the comfort of your own home, you can stay right where you are. But if you're ready to move on, start to wiggle the fingers and toes, bring some movement back in. Maybe hugging the knees in and rocking it out a bit. Roll onto your side and just kind of curl up in the fetal position for a breath or two. And then slowly making your way back up to sit. Comfortable seated position. Bringing those hands together in front of the heart. Closing our practice with loving kindness meditation. May you be happy. May you be healthy in mind and body. May you be safe. And may you be filled with a sense of ease. And namaste.